So our intention is to do a truly mixed-use development in Saxonvale. So that means commercial space, residential space, mixed throughout the site. So all across sections over here, we're going to have a lot of residential space, as well as commercial on the ground floor, and commercial space in other areas of the site as well. But central to our plan is to have as much as possible community-owned space, owned by the community in perpetuity. So I'm going to give you a quick guide as to what those spaces and buildings are. So first of all of the public space, the roads, all of this will be owned by the community. So as an example, if we wanted to hold an event, we won't have to ask Somerset Council for permission. We can just get on with it and do it. So in addition to that space, there are a series of buildings. We've got here two old 20th century industrial heritage buildings, the press shops over there, and the Knot store behind me over here. So we didn't come up with the idea of community ownership. It's an idea that's being pursued up and down the country at the moment. And indeed, it's part of the Frome Town Council's overall strategy for the town. And it speaks to a wider idea around localism, the idea that communities know what they need, what their priorities are, and what's important for their future development. And it also means that these spaces can be used from a long-term perspective. They can look to the future rather than being owned by a commercial organisation which is going to look at it from a short-term returns perspective. And if we put these spaces, these buildings, in the ownership of the community, there's so many opportunities for what we can do with them. We might lease them to a business that's part of a central economic strategy that town's trying to pursue. We might lease it to a certain business at a lower rate because we want to encourage other businesses of that sort to come into the town and form a cluster and become a specialism of the town. We might lease some space to a local organisation that's doing great things for cultural activities within the town. We might lease some space to another group for free because we know that that group is going to support parts of our community in really important ways. And what we choose to use these spaces for now will maybe different in 5 years, might be different in 20 years or 100 years. It will be up for the community to decide at that point in the future. And finally, we've got the Western Warehouse, the building you can see behind me, and a whole series of other buildings that sit around it. And when we say community owned, what do we mean? Well, first of all, we don't mean Mayday Saxonvale. Mayday Saxonvale and our development partner Stories will deliver the site, but after that, the community assets will be transferred to a new company, a community company, which we haven't got a name for yet, that will own all of the public space and those buildings. And they will lease out the spaces to different groups, organisations, businesses, charities, whoever they decide. And they'll be run by a group of trustees that are truly representative of all of the town. So how do we finance the build of these community assets? Well, the primary route is that we take all of the profits from the residential and commercial areas of the site and then redirect that as seed capital to build out those spaces and those buildings. We'll also go for grant funding, and because of the uses of a lot of these spaces, we'll be in a prime position to get that type of grant funding. And we may also launch a community bond to particularly invest in these spaces, giving everyone a chance to invest in the future of the town. So how do we finance these assets going into the future? Well, all of the different assets will be providing a different level of income to that main community company. So it could be a business that's leased some space at commercial rates that provides the rental income to the company, or it could be a group that's got a grant to operate within a space and give some income to the company, or it could indeed be the hotel or the cafe or the Lido at the other end of the site. And it will be the job of the trustees of the company to balance the books and ensure that the company is being run on a sound financial basis. But overall, what it does is it gives us the opportunity to cross-subsidise. So if you're getting strong income from some assets, it means you can provide other spaces to local groups at a lower rate or for free, so that they can do those great things that they can for the community.